Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose, if you're new to my show, is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And today, of course, is another cooking show, which you guys have been asking for, so I am proud and pleased to deliver for you. Anyway, today I'm going to make an amazing salmon dish, which, you know, guys, I'm not huge on dairy, although I say you can add it into your diet moderately. You know, you can have it from time to time. I'm okay with that. I just don't like when people have it all the time in their diet. But anyway, this one is going to be just one of your favorites, and it's going to have heavy cream in it, and it's going to have Reggiano Parmigiano cheese. So you're going to absolutely love this one. And it is so simple to make, and it is so delicious. It's creamy, it's rich, and it's going to fill you up. So let's get started with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over the ingredients. We're going to be using these beautiful Sockeye salmon fillets. And Sockeye salmon is a great fillet you want to use because Sockeye salmon have really tiny little teeth. So they really don't eat bigger fish. So if you're worried or concerned about mercury, you're not going to have to worry about that with Sockeye salmon because it eats tiny fish and really other type of small animals in the sea. We're going to be using heavy cream, of course, salt, pepper, spinach. We're going to put parsley, lemon juice, garlic, and of course, one of the stars of the show, Reggiano Parmigiano cheese. For all of us Italians, it is the king of all cheeses. And of course, we're going to use olive oil too. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is salt and pepper the salmon. A little fresh ground pepper on here. Then I'm going to add some olive oil to my pan. And I'm going to start these skin side up. A lot of times I start skin side down, but I'm going to start these skin side up today because I want to get a nice crust on top of that salmon. So I'm going to go ahead and let the salmon cook for about 3 to 4 minutes on this side. Then I'm going to flip them over, skin side down, and go ahead and cook it a little longer on that side. And what I'm also going to be serving with this is Lacinato Kale. Now, kale is, of course, one of my favorite foods to eat because it is such a rock star. You hear me speak a lot about something called the Andy score. And really what the Andy score means is aggregate nutrient density index. In other words, how nutrient rich or how nutrient dense are certain foods. And kale, bok choy, collard greens, of course, these are 1,000 on the Andy score. So 1,000 is the highest. So just one of the biggest rock star when it comes to that. So I'm going to be sauteing some kale. And I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, kale's pretty bitter. Kale is not really tasty. I think I just use it for garnish all the time, right? It's just usually put on the side of the plate, and I pretty much brush it aside, and then it gets thrown away. Well, kale is something you definitely want to incorporate into your diet. So I'm going to show you today how to do it here. And on future episodes, I'm going to show you how to make a nice salad out of it. So let's go ahead and see how this is doing. So this is looking beautiful right now, getting nice and crusted. So we're just going to let that go for a little while longer, and then we're going to come back and turn them over. All right, so it's looking beautiful on that side. What I'm going to do is go ahead and flip it over and let it cook on the other side for just another few minutes. And one of the things you want to do whenever you're flipping fish, you don't want to just scoop right under it and flip it right over. The best thing you can do is really just scoop under it, and then with your fingertips, you hold one side of it. And as you're holding this side, you then just turn it over. That's simple. And you're not going to get burned because the other side's not hot. This one again, turn it over, and there we go. So as you can see, that's looking beautiful. And really what the white is over here, that's just the fat coming out of it. So as I said, the white that's coming out of the salmon, that's just basically the fat rendering off, because salmon is a very oily, fatty fish, which is perfect for the ketogenic diet. The other thing too is you notice in salmon, it's got a beautiful orangey red color. The more orangey red, the better, because that's a very powerful antioxidant called astaxanthin. And that's something that a lot of people are getting in supplements today and different types of capsules and so on because of just how powerful it is. But you can get it right here in salmon. That's why salmon is one of the healthiest fish you can eat because of its antioxidant properties. Also, too, because when salmon has to swim upstream, it really helps develop the musculature on a salmon too. And also just a simple fact that it's got such great fats, and of course, as I said, the antioxidant properties. All right, so we're going to let that go for just a few minutes on this side. What I'm going to start doing is preparing my kale. I'm going to be cutting that up into small pieces, and then we'll get that sauteing, and we're going to be done with this pretty quickly. All right, so the salmon is done. I'm just going to take it off and let it rest off to the side, and I'm going to start to get the cream sauce ready for it. So we'll just take these off, plate them right over here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is lower the heat just a little bit, because whenever something's not in the pan, it's going to heat up quickly. So you want to lower it just a little bit. If you had stuff you were going to put in there right away, it'll keep the heat down, but when there's nothing in the pan, it's going to heat up fast. I'm going to go ahead and mince up some garlic, get this going. So of course we smash the garlic first. A lot of you have seen me do that on my cooking shows, and the reason is because I don't really want chunky garlic in this. As I've mentioned before, sometimes I do. I do like chunky garlic in certain recipes, but not this one. So I'm going to mince this up, get it nice and small. And then what I'm going to do is put this with some butter in the pan. I'm going to let that saute, let the butter get golden brown a little bit. I mean the garlic. All right. Go ahead and get a little bit of butter in the pan. Hopefully the pan's not too hot to where it burns the butter. You don't really want to burn the butter. You don't want to brown it. Now if you're making a roux with French cooking, that's okay, but I'm not making a roux here. So the butter's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and get the garlic in the pan. Lower the heat just a little bit. And I want the garlic to get to a point where it's really getting translucent to where you can see through it. Let that go for a little while. Then the next thing I'm going to add to this is the heavy cream. So once I have the heavy cream, I'll start adding the spinach in and the other ingredients. So I'm going to stop the cooking here a little bit with some heavy cream. Throw some spinach. And the spinach, I'm just really going to be wilting it. So it's going to wilt right inside the pan. So once again, don't have it on too high of a heat. I'm not looking to reduce the cream down right now. I'm just really looking to wilt the spinach. So while the spinach is wilting, I'm going to give it a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to have the recipe for this down in the description so you can get it there. Now, guys, a lot of the times you'll see me cook, and I don't use measurements. I just wing it. So you'll have all the ingredients. If you like more cheese in it or less cheese, you want it more creamy or less creamy, you can change it. You want bigger pieces of salmon or smaller. The pieces I cut are roughly 6 ounces, which is a good size serving for me. So salt and pepper to taste, obviously. I'm going to bring up the heat just a little bit. So while this is wilting, I'm going to go ahead and put my parsley in. I'm going to get the parsley chopped up here. Once again, parsley, just a nice coarse chop. Don't want those too small. I like parsley a little bit bigger. But before I do that, I'm going to start adding in the cheese. Now remember, cheese is going to give it some salt taste, so you want to make sure that you don't over-salt it. So maybe you want to put the cheese in first and then put the salt in afterwards and test it. See if you like it. So this is wilting beautifully. All right, looking good. Looking good. I'm just going to give it a little taste, see if it's, that's great. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is add the salmon back in. Just let that cook in there for just a little while. Sprinkle in the parsley over the top. Give it just a little bit of a lemon. And there we have it. So now I'm just going to let this kind of sit in here a little bit. I'm going to take the heat off, and now I'm just going to put it back on the plate. what I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon on some of that beautiful cream sauce. Move this over a little bit. We're going to fit them both on here. So I want to get them both off that heat because you don't want the salmon to dry out. Just a little bit of cream sauce on here. And then, all right, so there you have that. Now I'm going to get to work on the kale, and then we're going to plate this up together, make it look beautiful. All right, to work on the kale. All right, so let's go ahead and get the kale going now. So really what Lacinato kale looks like is just like this, and it's typically called dinosaur kale because the back of it, or I should say the front of it, really resembles very similar dinosaur type skin. So you hopefully could see that up close right there, just like that. And so the Lacinato kale, once again, it's not bitter like other kales. It's actually very soft and silky, so it doesn't have that coarse roughness. So I think you'll find this really, really amazing when you want to put it in so either saute it in a pan, or if you decide you want to put it into a salad, which, like I said, I'll show you on some upcoming episodes. But really, all I'm going to do is I'm going to slice out the inside. Right here, I'm going to put a line or slice down here and a slice down the other side, and really just take out that rib right in the middle. That's really the goal, and then I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces. All right, so like I said, all I'm going to do is simply slice down on either side of the ribs here, take out the middle, and this gets thrown away. And then what I'm going to do is take the leafy part, the tender part, and I'm just going to coarse chop it. So just like this. Okay, so that's about the size I'm going to be chopping it up. Just like that, it's nice and bite-sized. And what you're going to find with the kale is it really tastes a lot like spinach, except it's heartier. So it's going to have a very similar flavor. So if you like spinach sauteed in a pan, you're going to love this, but it's got a little bit more bite to it. It's like a little more al dente, as we say in Italian. So now all I'm going to do is put some olive oil in the pan. Always olive oil. Good amount, because once again, the great thing about how keto works is if you find yourself a little lower on fats, and I tell this to my wife all the time, she's like, honey, I'm low on fats by the end of the day. What I just tell her to do is just put tablespoons of fat in your food. So whether it be oil, whether coconut oil, butter, add anything to it to get the fat content up. So that's the great thing about vegetables. The vegetables are really clean, they're really good for you, very low calorie, but you can add in great amounts of fat with it. So once again, just like you've seen me do before, we're going to crush up the garlic. And then we're going to get this in the pan. Now this I'm going to leave a little bit more chunky. As you've heard me say before, I like it a little more minced, but this one I want a little more chunky because I do want to see and taste the garlic and know that it's there. Just like that. Get the garlic going. Like I said before, you never want to burn garlic. You want to make sure that you're keeping it to where it just gets translucent or a little bit golden brown. You don't want to get to a point where the garlic is burnt. Because when garlic gets burnt, it gets bitter, and you don't want that. So as you see the garlic getting ready, which this is getting close here, all I'm going to do is add the kale to it. Now, I might even during the cooking process decide that I want more olive oil to it, which I think I do. So I'm just going to add more on top. Now, unlike spinach, you typically don't want to salt spinach too early in the cooking process because it'll render its water so quickly. What I'm going to do with this to help break it down is start to add some salt to it. Salt and pepper. And just start to flip it around a little bit. Whoop. A little bit escaped, but we're going to put it right back in. All right, so I'm going to let this go for just a little while. Just let it wilt down. That's really all you're doing with it. You're not trying to necessarily cook it, and you want to make sure the nutrients stay nice and rich. You don't want to cook the nutrients out of it. So many times we boil food and boil things in water, and we end up throwing all the nutrients down the drain when we drain it out. But you want to make sure that you saute this lightly. As I said before, you just want to wilt it. You don't want to get it to where it's too discolored. You want to keep it nice and vibrant and nice and green. So this is just about done. I mean, that's wilted. So all I'm going to do at this point is add a little more fat to it. I'm going to add some butter. Now, for those of you out there in my viewing land who don't like when I taste the food, remember, I'm cooking this for myself. So if you see me taste it, don't worry about it. And by the way, thanks to all my other viewers and friends out there who come to my defense and say, hey, he's cooking for himself. It's okay. If you're at home, lick your spoon, lick your fingers, do whatever you want. All right. So this is done. I'm going to turn the heat off, and we're done with this. So now all I'm going to do is plate this up with my salmon, and it's going to be beautiful.
Did you make some for me?
My wife is asking if I made some for her. You want to get in the picture, honey? You have a ladies' luncheon you're going to, so you don't get any of this. Come here, say hello. For those of you out there, this is my beautiful wifey. So now you get to see the other half, the part that makes me who I am.
I know. I'm on this keto journey with all of you guys. I kind of resisted for months, if not years.
She wouldn't listen to me. See, you guys out there, you say, wow, you know what you're talking about, and I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. My wife doesn't think I know what I'm talking about. You know how it is.
That's not true. It just took me listening to all of your amazing comments to really understand.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that this actually works. And I've been on my keto journey for 9 days. I've lost...
what, 7 pounds, 8 pounds?
No, well, 5.
Not 5? Okay.
5. I think since I started
but it's
counting,
5 quality
A
pounds.
little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, I've been on this weight roller coaster, yo-yo, trying gadgets, and you name it, I've tried it.
For those of you who saw my Jillian Michaels rebuttal or response.
I probably tried her
No,
stuff.
she didn't try her stuff, but my wife was the one who, instead of saying, okay, honey, I'm going to follow your recommendations and eat a healthy diet,
I wanted a
I'm
quick
looking
and
for
easy.
the weight loss pills. That's what she used to do.
I did.
And I'm not trying to throw her under the bus.
It's okay. I mean, it's true. You got to be honest. So
Yeah.
I'm on this journey, and actually, I did have a little, 2-day bout of what they call the keto flu.
Which we all do.
But actually what saved me, though, is I'm a sugar fiend. Like, I was so addicted to sugar. I still am, I think. But and I don't know if you recommend Truvia, but like I put a little Truvia in some organic tea.
I have not, for those of you wondering about it, I've not heard anything negative about it. And Truvia is stevia and erythritol. So those two are fine. Those two I'm very, have zero problem with using that. I don't know how processed it is through Truvia, but I've not seen anything negative about it. So if you want to use it and it'll save you from going insane,
it saved me for 2 days. I still do it. I love my sweet tea with the Truvia, of course, and some ice at dinner, because drinking water for me is like, ugh, kill me now. I wanted something more than lemon, water, just water. And then, of course, he cooks for me, so I have to jump on this bandwagon. And by the way, I do have to go. So.
Yeah. So, but let us show the audience how good this looks. Look at that. That's beautiful.
It smells good too.
We're going to see if we can get a close up of that. But no, you're not behind the camera now, so that's okay. That's okay. If you want to pan down at this beauty. So anyway, like I said, you've got beautiful, beautiful Lacinato Kale. This stuff is absolutely delicious. I dare not eat it with my hand. But then you have here the beautiful Sockeye salmon with a cream Parmesan sauce with wilted spinach, parsley, a little bit of lemon squeezed on top at the end. You're going to love this one. All right, guys? Let's bring it back up. There you go. All right. So anyway, let me know what you think. Give me your comments. Let me know. Try this recipe out. Like I said, I'll put the ingredients down below in the description, but once again, I don't measure things many times. If you want it more creamy or less creamy, more cheesy or less, bigger piece, smaller pieces of salmon, you do whatever you like. But let me know what you think about it. And once again, guys, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. And by the way, like I've always said, where are you going?
I'm coming back in.
Okay, you're coming back in.
I want to thank all you guys for giving your comments and also just sharing your testimony of how
it's
keto's
amazing.
helped you
Your testimonies are
physically,
heartwarming.
with your health, how much weight you've lost. Because because I hear this all the time, and I didn't even want to do it until you guys commented. So I appreciate you guys for doing that and getting me excited about this journey. And I'm going to continue.
I'm going to keep putting her on video, so she has to keep up with this journey because you guys hold her accountable.
I know. I have about 35 pounds to lose.
We have 5 children, by the way, hence the hair's out right now. So this beautiful lady pushed out 5 babies, so she's entitled to put a little weight on, but she wants to get back to her fighting.
But you know what? It's not even about the weight. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
And I have been feeling a lot better on the keto diet.
So healthy fats.
This whole fat thing is, I'm excited.
The healthy fats, because hey guys, your hormones are all derived from fat, so you have to have it. So that's the beautiful thing about how the ketogenic diet works. It's not just about a diet for weight loss. And once again, like I said, if you saw my video, I encourage you to go back and watch that one on my Jillian Michaels response. I mentioned that keto diet's not designed to be just a fat loss diet, and it really never was. It's designed to make you healthier because it gets back to what our ancestors ate: healthy fats, moderate proteins, a little bit of carbs, and it's really what we're really designed to do. And as I said before, one of the best things is it really mimics the fasting process to where our bodies turn to fat for fuel rather than sugars.
Yep.
So,
on that note, I'll have to go.
Okay.
Thank you so much again. Bye.
All right. Bye, honey. So if you like the video, please make sure you like, you share, you comment, and you subscribe. And if you want to see my wife more in these videos, let me know that too. Anyway, guys, God bless. Thanks for being with me today. I love and appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.